Hey everyone, it's Rachel here, Oracle spiritual healer and guide teacher. Um, Today we're going to take a look at the energy for the month of June. I'm recording this on the 2nd, um, and I'll be posting it tomorrow. I really sort of want to take a deep dive. I didn't write down anything like I normally do in my notebook and then share it. There's so much changing and shifting all the time. Timelines, shifting and changing, lots of movement happening. So I kind of want to do just sort of off the cuff and explore, different aspects for the month. So before I dive into that, if you um, like the videos I'm creating, please like this one if you like this one. If you want to subscribe, that's greatly appreciated. Um, Anything to sort of help with the promotion of this. It is promoting myself, but it's why I'm doing it is to help other people, especially in these times where there's a lot of uncertainty and there is so much change and shift happening all the time, um, on a global scale. And it's not always easy, to wake up and feel positive, optimistic. Um, for some of us, we can sort of really go down the drain, focusing on all of, the issues that we believe exist. Um, and I know I probably say this every video, and I say it because it's true, is that we're going through this period of getting the toxins out, right? We're going through a cleanse, um, energetically, spiritually. We're saying no to old ways of doing things, old ways of thinking about things that don't work, that haven't worked for a long time, that work for a few people. For the majority of us, it doesn't. And we're sort of chipping away at that, right? And so the spotlights, the sun, the spotlights are being shown in all these different aspects of life. Yeah, this isn't working here. This isn't working there. This isn't working, in that way. And it's all happening for us to adjust into what we call the new earth, which, we're not there yet. There's a lot more to take place. But as we navigate these times of transition and transformation and death and rebirth, it's nice to have some community around that. Some like, oh, I'm not the only one feeling this, or I'm not the only one, going through this. Whether it be something that you're really excited about or not, or a struggle. So that's why I decided to start this channel, is to give people tools, perspective, you know, um, bring some more light in. So, so here we go with June, the month of June. Let's see what I'm going to start with the cards. I'm using two decks today. First is my shamanic deck from Sedona. I love this deck. It's not actually called that. It's called the Mystic Art Medicine Oracle Cards, Tools for Transformation. And the other one's the Time Traveler's Oracle by Denise Lynn. So we're going to start with pulling cards and see what comes through. And then I'll sort of dive into different aspects, including the political realm, because political and financial, those are often very tied together. So let's see what's going on. And then they also want me to look at community, because that's really important right now. First card, expression. Speaking up. It's all about speaking up, creating. So, if you watch the new moon video I did for this last new moon, I talked about how, no, sorry, that wasn't for the new moon. It was about money, about the economy. I was talking about how it's going to be people who are creative problem solvers. They're going to basically save the US economy from just completely tanking. And that's what I see is people speaking up, creating, not waiting anymore, taking action, deciding, okay, this obviously isn't going to go back to the way it was before because it's not. So, what can we create going forward? How is this going to work for us? Um, so, it's the continuation of that energy. And that energy is positive, right? It's helping us move forward. It's something positive we can focus on individually and collectively. It's like, what can we build from the chaos? What can we, um, how can we shift and navigate these waters, right? Goddess of Earth. First of all, that has to do with grounding energy, each of us individually. It also has to do with connecting with the earth, um, having that reciprocal relationship with the elements of the earth, and building things, tangible things. Tangible things that can sort of withstand time. And when they're talking about tangible things, we usually think about physical, like physical structures, right? Well, physical structures is an expression of that. But even a platform is something that they're sort of considering tangible, right? It's something we can interact with. That's not just in the mind or as an idea, but it's coming through in our physical reality. So that's what that card's about. And it just, I know I've said this a million times. I'm going to keep saying it. It's so important to do the practices that ground you. So important at this time. That is how we make clear decisions. That's how we get clear, so we can make clear decisions. Um, and that's how we stay, okay. That's how we stay okay. So I do offer some things I post here on my channel. So you could check those out. But if you know what works for you, please do it. Keep doing it. So integration. This has to do, what they're saying is integration of information. As more information comes forward, it's like it's all starting to make sense. It's like all the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together, and people are like, "Oh, what's going on." And there are more pieces to come, but the picture, just like if you're doing a puzzle, the more pieces coming in, the clearer the image gets, and it's easier. You don't even need the pieces. You can see what goes there, what's missing. Right. And so the integration it's all this information that's coming in, and it's like integrating in our systems. This is again energetically, but also just with things that are being uncovered, information that's coming to the surface, things that have been kept secret behind closed doors. It's starting to integrate into our psyches, into our systems, giving us more clarity around how we should move forward, who we want to be, who we don't want to be, who we want to, like, what we want to be a part of, what we don't want to be a part of. And I just want to be really clear. There's still a lot of, what's the right word? It's like still a lot of muddy waters. I'll put it that way. And it's not on one side or the other side. It's on both sides. Okay. One side is not better than the other side. There's deception on both sides, and I mean, politically, um, yeah, politically, and how in whatever way you want to think about it, whether it's actually in politics or people's own sort of um, ideas and values, right? There's muddy waters on either side of the spectrum. And so part of this information coming in to help us get clarity is for us to become more clear within ourselves to understand truth and not be sort of swayed, right? And this happens on either side. We hear information, we hear what we want to hear to justify what we want to believe, as opposed to coming to the truth. Just coming to the truth. What's actually at the truth? What's not sort of feeding our own belief systems, our own desires, what we want to see, what we want to believe, what we want to hear, but what actually is the truth. So that's all taking place. And remember, all this happens in waves, right? Energetic wave here, energetic wave there, and it shifts. It shifts just like, the planets above us, it shifts. And, there's a few days here, you'll feel this. And a week later, you'll feel something different. So this is waves of energy that come through for the month. And these are predominant themes that we're talking about. Grace. Yeah, this is how you want to think about living in grace. People you meet, whether you know them or not, like them or not, being graceful. Being graceful. There's this great, I wish I could remember where I read this, but it's a yogic saying, because that's something else I do. I teach yoga. Is that yoga is doing everything in your life with grace. And I've always really loved that phrase or that saying, because I really believe that's true. Because yoga is about, bringing things together, the union of things. And so when we can stay in grace, we can be receptive and we can be flexible and supple and we can respond, and we're not moving from these explosive emotions. But again, from a centered place. New growth. That's what we're going through. Yeah, I mean, again, I still see people coming forward, new ideas, new ways, new initiatives. Yeah, new things, new perspectives, new ways of talking about things. It just, people are really tired. They're just really tired of what's been going on for years in some cases, for decades in other cases. And so people are really sort of craving something new, really craving it. Activation. It's what's happening. All the chaos is causing us to be activated, charged, awakened within. Absolutely. And core healing. So now I've talked about this a lot before. What we're seeing happening is very karmically related. All these patterns are just cycling back through, and how they turn out is based off of our actions, our decisions, collectively and individually. But the opportunity that exists is that we heal. We heal things on a deeper level. We change those karmic imprints, our karmic patterns, and we create something new. So that's how transformation takes place. We release something that's old, outdated, and we transform it into a new expression, a new energy, a new realization, a new reality. Okay. And then devotion. What's this one about? They're saying that one, okay, this one's more community related. That one's about being devoted to the people you love, the causes you care about, to yourself, your own needs, like self-care, that you matter just as much as everybody else. And if you're the humanitarian type or nurturing type, you know exactly what I mean. You need to prioritize yourself in that way. But the devotion has to do with being devoted to being here, being with the people you love, supporting them, caring for them, doing the same towards yourself. And it's not sort of giving up. It's not being complacent. It's not being apathetic. It's being devoted to moving things forward. It's an interesting one. Okay, I'm going to switch to card decks now. So, what was that? 8 cards there. Miracles. Oh, there we go. Let me ask what that's about. Because that could be about a lot of things. Yeah, they're saying it's not going to get as bad as we think it is. And I believe that too about our economy and financial systems this year. This year, I'll say that it's not going to get as bad as we think it's going to get. More people are going to step forward and come into leadership and say, this can't happen anymore. This has to shift. Some people need to leave, and it needs to be restructured. And that's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, what they're telling me it's going to happen in this next year. Now, timelines can shift, and I talk about that. Timelines shift based off of our actions, our decisions, but they're saying it's not going to take very long for all the chaos to come to a halt, and for all that energy to be redirected into something new. So again, it's almost like things are unraveling. And I mean, the people who are in office right now, the top office seat um, at the White House, uh, it's all unraveling more and more. They're not able to keep anything together, and they just keep trying to pursue things that are sort of, I don't want to call them dead ends because they're not, but they have no staying power. It's like, what can we get out of this as quickly as we can get out of it? Because it, they know they don't have much more time um, on some level. And it's not that they're going to go away. They're not. They're still going to keep speaking up, but they won't be able to take advantage like they have been. So all of that's starting to unravel more and more. Again, I see people stepping up and saying, we can't do this. This isn't going to work. This has to change. So we'll see who those people are. We'll see how it happens. Some of it will come through the courts, but I do see other political leaders stepping up and saying things. And this is most likely, people in Congress and the House of Representatives stepping up and saying enough is enough. Okay, what else? Playfulness. That's a reminder not to forget to live. Just to live your life. To find the joy, the simple pleasures, whatever that is for you. For me, I love flowers. They bring me a lot of joy. Like, it's even on my phone case. My phone case is just flowers. My water bottle, my pillows, flowers. So whenever I see flowers, it brings me a lot of joy. But the playfulness is to remind us to keep living our lives. Our energy, what we put out in the world is what we get. And so It's something just to acknowledge and shift if you feel like you need to. Okay, a few more. Breakthrough. Yep, that's like the miracle card. It's unraveling. Let's see what happens this month. It's just the beginning. And then healing. Yeah, there's the healing again. So that feels good. So let me just look at I'm gonna look at the economy again in the US. And I did a video about the US and global uh money flow. But again, things keep changing so quickly. I want to do another check-in with the American economy. So give me one moment. Yeah, I do see it going up and down. I mean, they're telling me what they told me a few weeks ago is that June, again, I feel this uplifting in June where, the economy is going to sort of um, get better. But then there's going to be a series of events that are going to make it sort of wobble. Um, yeah. And then by the fall, it's not feeling that great. Yeah. So I'll keep checking in on that. By the fall, it feels more stagnant, that there's not so much flow in and out. Um, but it's like a rebuilding time at that point. It's like a rebuilding. So it feels like maybe something reaches a pinnacle and there's a need for rebuilding or restructuring that'll help bring life back to the economy in America. But for the summer, again, I feel it sort of lifting up in June and sort of wavering in and out. And something's going to take place where it's like a series of events will take place where it's going to sort of flatten out. Um, yeah, it feels more stagnant. Doesn't feel great. I'm going to be honest. Doesn't feel great. But they keep saying it's going to be like a restructuring, a restructuring. Okay, so let me look at the politics, um, large scale politics, or the bigger picture politics. Again, yeah, his health is declining pretty rapidly, hanging on by threads. Um, Not really listening to the people around him that are telling him what would be good for him. Very stubborn. It's like he thinks he knows everything, and he's just gonna do what he's known, which is just to sort of keep going, not to stop. But I do see that sort of, it's just it's gonna be, again, it's unraveling. It's gonna be lead to a dead end. So I'm asking right now if his health will be the reason he steps away, or he'll be sort of taken out of the position. So let me look at that. Yeah, it's almost like a little bit of both. There'll be a conversation around his ability, especially his mind, his mental ability, capacity to do the work, to do the job. Feels like people are going to be sort of betray him. in the process of that, like, that he can't do it. So to put themselves in a place of power. But it's also the things that he's signing off on are going to get him in trouble, or the things that he's doing are going to get him in trouble. So it's like a combination of both, is how I see it going right now. Yeah. And this all is sort of tied into, this shifting that I see taking place, the restructuring, the sort of shift in the economy. Yeah. Local economy is where we want to really focus for everybody. Because if locally we're strong, we're good, right? If you can support people who are making things locally, supplying things locally, it's like building the house, building the structures of which, your community lives and runs off of. So that's really where we want us to focus. The bigger companies that are exporting and importing, that have government contracts and things like that. Um, they're sort of on a different scale, and they'll have. I don't want to say it's not as hard on them, because that's not necessarily true, but it kind of is. Because they are used to the capacity and they can handle it. It's a smaller scale mom and pop, you know, um, stores and shops and businesses that need the support, that needed the support. And so as much as you can buy locally, you'll keep your local economy strong. Um, I know, like Amazon's super convenient. um, but if you can, find it where you live, even better. All right. So I'm not sure how long this video is, so I'm going to stop there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.